Hello, everybody. Welcome to round 10 of the European Women's Chess Championships, where Diana is today playing Mihaela Trifoi, a girl from Romania. I think she's 16 years old, or 15 maybe. Up-and-coming player. Strong player, has been having an alright tournament, playing a little bit above her rating, I think. So yeah, let's see how it goes for Diana today. I think we had some nice prep, but looking at the position now, it doesn't look like they exactly went into the lines that we had thought of. Let me just quickly update the analysis board. So after queen c7, knight c2, e2, I'm already again suspicious because this is the kind of move that cost Diana the game yesterday. We're sort of moving the knight that doesn't really come naturally. Like, the more natural move would be knight g to e2, I would assume, developing, and then, you know, sort of maybe doing something like that in the future. But okay, she played knight c to e2, c5, f4, c takes d, knight takes d, and now, okay, now this is starting to look like it made sense. Everything we did made sense. Our knight is on a decent square now. We're pushing our kingside pawns. That was sort of in the fashion that we'd hoped to be playing today anyway. And then knight to c6 was played. No, that certainly wasn't played. Hold on a second. Was it? Let me just see real quick. Yes, at some point e6 was played and I missed it. Oh, after bishop g2 e6 was played here. Okay, my bad. Sorry. I did this earlier and I wasn't exactly paying attention. So this is actually not the move order we saw. We saw this, and after my opinion on the Dutch defense, I am not sure how you came up with that question right now. I do not have an opinion on the Dutch defense. I heard, like, people tell me that it's not particularly good. I probably agree with it. But yeah, I haven't ever looked deep into refuting the Dutch defense. But I guess the bishop g5 lines are sort of good. But anyway, sorry about this. I'll just quickly redo the moves. So bishop g2, e6, bishop e3, queen c7. Okay, this makes more sense. I was a little bit confused earlier as to what was going on in the game. And then knight c to e2, c5, f4, takes, knight c6. Okay, and then knight g to f3, and bishop to b4 check. Okay, so this looks very reasonable. This looks very reasonable as far as openings go. I can later maybe show what the preparation was supposed to be for today. It was a little bit different, but for now, I'll just quickly set things up. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all having a good day, a good time, and are settling in for a nice game. I think this position looks like something Diana might enjoy, so I'm hopeful for sure. I think this might be definitely might be a good game for Diana. I think we can be decently happy with what we got out of the opening. Our pieces are developed. Our pawn structure looks nice and mobile. At some point, we can maybe look to make this work, although we have to work for that a little bit, as long as the bishop's on d7. But it's so bright in here, and it's so hot as well. Our air conditioning is not working at the moment, which is very annoying. It's a bit of a sauna in here, actually. I think it's like 32 degrees outside, and yeah, not very pleasant. But I just took a shower and I'm already sweating again. Yeah, thanks Dermot for the commentary thing. Luke might not be coming in today. He did not maybe want to come in today. Didn't want to, yeah. So maybe I'm gonna be alone for the day, unless we find someone else who is willing. I'm always appreciative of people wanting to come on. Yeah, streaming ain't easy. I think, yeah, for me, I sometimes, you know, I'm not naturally as talkative as Diana maybe, so I don't have the same natural charm, let's say. But okay, anyway, we're just gonna need a good game from Diana that I can talk loads of good things about, or she's gonna have to finish it quickly, in which case I won't have to waffle too much before I sweat out of my mind. Either one would be good with me. Yeah, so in this position, c3 was played, and just seeing c3 and bishop a5. And for now, Diana's at 1 hour and 5 minutes, her opponent 1 hour and 22 minutes. So we're down a little bit on time, but I think we have a good position here. If I'm going to be honest, I think black, I don't know, I don't really like that much what black did. I mean, we're playing a Caro-Kann here, but this bishop, you wouldn't think this is a Caro-Kann bishop, because this bishop is locked in like if it was a French bishop, and we never really like that. So I think we should have quite a bit of an advantage here out of the opening. The only move by Diana that I didn't really love was bishop to g2. I think if we look at the run of play earlier, playing bishop to g2 here is, I'm not sure about that. Like if we play bishop to e3, because we know the dark square bishop wants to go there, or we play knight e2 or knight f3, I think that keeps us more flexible. I guess knight e2 would be the sensible one. So bishop e3, knight e2, so we can still play f4. Bishop g2 is a little bit strange to me, because this is not such a great diagonal for the moment that we immediately want to put the bishop there, maybe. And at the same time, it sort of commits us. So we're not going to be having the chance to develop it to the d3 square, for example, and to go for this diagonal. And we're also not going to probably want to play bishop h3 at some point, which might have been some idea to you know, support this kind of advance. But now it's going to take an extra tempo. So I think bishop g2 was maybe not the theoretically sound move that we would have liked to make, just because of, now if we just follow opening principles, it's usually better to develop the knights before the bishops, and I think this would have held true here as well. Just developing the knight first, and then this bishop, and then just seeing where this light square bishop really wants to go once black has shown us a little bit more of what they want to do. But okay, I think still all fine. I can just quickly show the kind of preparation we had in mind. So actually, Diana was out of preparation already on move 4 here. A6 was not what we were ready for. So the move that, the normal move that's played here almost all the time. I can just see that e6 has been played 1,700 times in mastery games, whereas a6 has only been played 198 times. So quite a rare move. But yeah, okay. So her opponent chose to go for a6. We expected this, and then we wanted this kind of a plan where the g-pawn gets pushed, and eventually we're going to play this. Black's going to try to break on the king side. We're going to put some more pressure on the pawn. Here, bishop goes back, and then we wanted to play g5, takes knight b5. I mean, sorry. That was the general idea of the opening. So this is supposed to be slightly better for black if they play it perfectly, but it's very, very difficult to play, and it leads to very, very sharp positions. We did some practice against the computer in this, and yeah, some crazy games can surely come of this. And yeah, I think her opponent would have definitely struggled a lot at this kind of variation come on the board. But okay. This is definitely. Oh yeah, sorry, Dermot. I'll tilt the camera down. You can, I don't want to show too much of myself. Wouldn't want to disturb chat from the game. Wouldn't want to be too distracting. It does look very warm. It does look very warm. I was just washing the rest of my clothes, actually. So this is one of the only ones I have right now. I'm flying home in 2 days, so I was just fixing everything up. But yeah, okay. I still think this is really nice what Diana got off the opening. Actually, I think objectively it's probably better, because if this position had come on the board and black finds a couple good moves like this, and this was sort of the variation we were getting ready for up to this point. This is all pretty forced if you go down this variation and not play a6 or anything else after e6. The only variation would have been h6 or h5. I think the rest is pretty forcing. And this position, there's a lot of play here for sure. And this would have been a nice position to get, but I think what we got out of the opening now, also very much playable. A lot of chances to make things happen. And okay, let's see, has a move been made? Doesn't look like it. Diana's thinking has been spending almost 10 minutes after bishop a5. Well, I think a couple moves we could consider here. Maybe something like queen to, I don't know, maybe not c2 because of, tactics along the thing. So maybe queen to d2 or e2. I mean, d2 also looks a bit weird because we're lining it up with our king and the bishop, so maybe queen e2 would be the most natural. Just preparing castles on the queen side. I mean, we could also think of playing this, but I think this would be bad, because, I think then we're just pushing pawns on both sides of the board, and we're just still walking into the spin. I think that just would not be the greatest thing to do. So yeah, maybe some queen move, I would say. Queen d2 or queen e2. Maybe queen e2 seems more natural. We could also think of further pushing our queen side before doing that. So maybe like h4, bishop h3, and then trying to push this. But we need to be careful because if we do this too soon, there's still tactics here. If knight takes, this pawn can't take, so we would need to be ready for that in case bishop takes. There might be some trickery. But yeah, I think I'm not exactly sure what Diana's thinking about. Oh, short castles. You played. Oh, that's interesting. Not what I would have expected, but okay. I guess that makes some sense. Short castles, because it brings the rook to the f file, which supports this f pawn advance. Yeah, I don't mind this actually. Not what would have naturally come to my mind, just because I would have maybe thought looking to castle queenside would be the more natural plan, especially because we're sort of already pushing our kingside pawns, and black might not even castle on the kingside itself. So I was thinking maybe castling queenside for both players might be something that happens this game. But I guess in one sense we could say that we can play on the queen side quite well here, because black has this pawn chain, and as long as we don't break up the pawn chain, it's going to be tough for black to get pieces towards the king side. So our king feels kind of safe on the king side, even though we have this these pawns on f4 and g4 quite a ways away from the king. But I think as long as black has its own pawn wall that it can't really go through, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And if black ever tries to break here, I think it's going to be black that's most likely going to get in trouble, because white for now has a little bit better piece placement and pressure. So, and it's also always going to undermine the black center. So I think, yeah, this should be an alright move for sure. Yeah, this should be an alright move for sure. Although, also, again, I'm not really 100% sure if we needed to do it right away. So maybe, again, similar as to the bishop g2 logic, maybe it was a bit hasty to castle kingside, because we could have just played queen e2 and left ourselves some options. Maybe castle queenside, castle kingside on the next move if we wanted to. I don't think it would have changed anything. Or, you know, retain the chances to castle queenside and push some pawns and undermine the center with our pieces lined up. Maybe our queen on the e file, our rook on the f file, and our other rook on the d file, and then just trying to make things happen in the center, where our pieces are playing nicely as well. They're all sort of pointing towards these central squares. So, but okay, I think this is, as I said, I think this is completely reasonable as well. Maybe a little bit more solid even to castle now. And maybe Diana has been a little bit traumatized by castling too late in some of her games, so I definitely don't mind this, playing moves that we know can't really be wrong. Because castling queenside, it always introduces some element of, it often introduces some element of chaos into the game, where both players will go at each other on different sides of the board, and it's always going to be a little bit of a different game than when players are castle kingside. Although it might still happen that black is going to castle queenside eventually. It's not can't be ruled out completely, because our pawns are quite scary, even if our king is on the king's side as well. I think that doesn't necessarily stop us from having plans of attacking on the king's side. Okay, what do you guys think in chat? What do you guys think of the opening? Caro-Kann, not one of the openings that Diana has played against most often. For sure. So, and there is actually, the Caro-Kann is a very interesting opening, because there's a lot of room for violence in this opening. Like, I've never actually appreciated quite how much white can go aggressive. Like, I was looking for some variations this morning and yesterday night, and there's actually some really interesting stuff, like the Tal variation, and also this thing that Diana's wanted to play that I showed earlier, this thing which is called Van der Wheel attack, which I've never heard before. Yeah, very, very interesting. I missed the start, but it looked aggressive to play g4 early. Well, yeah, that was sort of the idea. Similar to the game where she played the French and had this g5 idea prepared. Here, the g4 idea was supposed to be the idea. Maybe too aggressive, you say? Well, I'm not sure about that. I think you have a lot of scope with white to play like this against the Caro. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. You liked it with queenside castle, yeah. Maybe she could have kept that option open a little longer at least. But I think there's actually nothing wrong with her position, because we can also eventually think of supporting this pawn advance in different ways. So now that our rook is on f1, we can think of things like knight to h4, and then preparing this advance, not like right now, but eventually, when black has sort of decided where the king is going to go. And in the meantime, we can maybe prepare some queen side expansion and a break on c5. We have a lot of possibilities here. I think white has a lot of opportunities to sort of dictate the pace of the play, like dictate where play is going to happen and dictate how the game is going to look. So I think this is a position where Diana can really shape it to what she wants to see on the board. I'm a little bit sick, by the way, so excuse me for maybe sounding a little bit rough in the throat, or like I have something in my nose, because I actually do. Apologies for that. Yeah, I better get well soon. They're gonna throw me out of the airplane if I seem sick, even though I am vaccinated, so I don't know. Have you been vaccinated, Dermot? Have you gotten the full vaccination yet? In her match with Davina, when she was down, she tried these castle side pawn storms. It seemed a bit desperate. Well, yeah, I think that's unprepared pawn storms maybe, but this one, I think this one is a little bit more calculated. And but like the thing here also is that this is something she chose. She could have also just gone full out and said, okay, I'm gonna castle queenside and push my kingside pawns, which would have, you know, I think that would have actually been more aggressive than saying, okay, I'm going to castle on this side where my pawns are already advanced, because you can say that this is sort of a potential danger if you continue pushing these pawns, but also for now they control the square, the space very nicely, and it's going to stop any of black's pieces coming even close to the king if the structure stays like this. So we're going to have to look for some breaks by black if black ever wants to get a king, an attack on the king going, and that's definitely going to introduce dynamics for both sides. Oh, by the way, there have been some moves. Nobody warned me. Castles bishop b6. Rook to c1. And knight g to e7. Rook to c1. She really doesn't want to move her queen. I think your rook might have wanted to go to d1. If you had moved your queen first, that might have been something that would have been possible, but okay. Like, I'm not sure if you really want to play c4, but maybe she does. Maybe she wanted to prepare that with rook to c1. The problem, I think, might be that, you know, eventually this knight's going to jump in here. For now, I think that wouldn't be possible because after this, if we play for now, I think they would have to. Let me see. Maybe just go here with the knight and say there's nothing happening on the c file. And then I guess you do have time to play a3 if you really want. Oh no, you don't, because your bishop's hanging. So that wouldn't maybe be the most pleasant thing. You would have to play something like bishop c1, which wouldn't be nice. So that's not something that white would want to go in for. So it's c4, in any case, might be a bit hasty. If not c4, then do you not have to go h4? Well, I don't think you have to go h4 yet, at least. I think you can play. I really want to connect my rooks. I mean, we're still. I really want to make some queen move. Still. Also, we still have this idea of bishop h3 and pushing here. Also, maybe this idea at some point, although we will have to be careful because our knight, you know, for now it's okay, but we maybe want to think about which piece we want to recapture with on d4, because I think, let's say if we have to take with the pawn eventually, I think that wouldn't be so good for white as a structure. I think we don't want to have this d4 pawn that black can play against. I think we're actually pretty happy that we don't have a d4 pawn in this position. This is actually like when a French, in the French, for example, when you're a d4 pawn, when you're able to get rid of this d4 pawn, and then black doesn't really have the same pressure anymore, so black will need to find some other thing to play against. So we definitely don't want to actually give them this d4 pawn to play against. I'm pretty sure. Although, I mean, take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt, because okay, c4 played. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. That seems hasty to me. Because this opens up this square, it opens up all sorts of squares. Like, I think this is pretty weakening, and I'm not sure why we wanted to do that just yet. So after takes, maybe she has a different plan than rook takes, but I don't see it personally. And if we play rook takes and knight e5, then I don't see what else we have other than like dropping the bishop back. Because we definitely don't want to drop this pawn. And I mean, okay, we could drop it to d2, but no, we can't, because that interferes with our... Well, for now this is pinned, I guess, so maybe we can. Let's say we go here. I guess it's possible, because we have the pin still, but I'm not sure. Maybe she also wants to... No, we can't take, because this hangs with check. So what do we think? What do we think after knight d5? Rook, d takes c, rook takes d4, and knight d5. What do we think here? We also can't really play something like this, because then we're going to end up in this very annoying pin, I think. After takes. Let's just see how this looks. I mean, maybe not terrible, but also not pleasant either. Or maybe you're here. And then castles, and we need to move our queen away somehow to unpin, but it's not so easy to see how we do that comfortably. We can't go here, something like here either, because eventually we're gonna get forked, so we don't have that many good squares. Maybe we could try this, but actually and then maybe this or this, and we're gonna be in some trouble. So no, none of this. So our opponent quickly took. Let's just see what they're going to do. D takes c4 played. Yeah, I think this might have been, again, just a tiny bit too hasty. Just a tiny bit too hasty to go for the c4. I'm not sure I liked how we prepared this, because here we don't have any need to play this yet. I mean, black isn't even castled yet. But that alone shouldn't really incentivize us to go too crazy, because black can always get castled and get to safety if they wanted to. We're not actually going to be breaking in the center with the intention of getting some strong attack against the king. So I think we could have just taken a couple more moves to prepare c4 if that's what we wanted to do. Yeah, king looks fine. I don't think we're getting anywhere close to it quickly. I agree. I agree that that was maybe not the right plan. Yeah, but okay. Let's see what Diana has planned next. She should have definitely had a plan for this. I don't think. Wait a minute. What? Oh, I missed a move somewhere. Hold on a second. Why didn't anybody warn me? I'm talking complete bullshit. The feed gave me something wrong here. We traded knights at some point. When did we trade knights? Oh, after c4 she played knight takes first. That's my bad. I didn't expect that. Okay, so knight takes, c4, knight takes, and then d takes. Okay, so this a little bit different. Now we're going to be down a pawn for a little bit, but we can always use this pin to win it back, I would imagine. Just for example, by playing this, that should be okay. If we played b3, if we even immediately want to win it back, I mean, we might have something better. We could also play queen e2, put pressure on it that way. So actually, okay, I like this a little bit better. I think black gave up their good knight. I think they're trying, if they try to hold on to this pawn, I think that's not going to be a good idea. I think they might just get in trouble if they do that, but we're gonna have to calculate to figure out if that's actually true. Thank you for the hydrate, Dr. Ossip. How are you doing today? I really do need to hydrate because it's very, very warm in this apartment. Our AC broke, and yeah, it's 32 degrees or something outside. It's not the best thing. But okay, let's just make this the main line really quick in the analysis. And yeah, so we're down a pawn, but in a good way, I would say. Like, down a pawn in a good way. Is the black knight going to d5? Well, I mean, now that we don't have this knight on f3 anymore, if it goes to d5, we could take it before we let it get too annoying. And then this structure here, I mean, this looks very scary if we think about it, because white's pawns are going to be running, and I mean, we're going to have this pawn structure here, but first of all, this pawn is still weak. We're going to need to defend that as black, and I think that might just be very scary for black if white's central pawns get rolling. Let's say, you know, the rooks get to these squares, the queen maybe, I don't know, comes in here somewhere, and then we get the pawns rolling. That should be very promising for white, I would think. So that might be a little bit of a trap. That's the kind of thing that I imagine we want as white, because if black tries too hard to hang on to this pawn, I think they're going to put their pieces on bad squares, and they're going to neglect their king safety in the process. So I think something like queen e2, and then maybe black should just let the pawn go immediately. Castle takes and go back, and then we say, as white, we're pretty happy. Wearing more than one color. Have I not worn more than one color before? I guess that's possible. I might have had white and gray. Actually, the first couple of days I was wearing the shirt that the Unstoppable Today shirt, which is like orange and I don't know what the writing is, maybe like black or dark blue or something. Diana's actually wearing that shirt today to the round, so she's unstoppable today, so she is definitely going to win. Black on yellow, yeah, that might be the truth as well. You can't really trust me with colors. I'm a little bit colorblind, so take it with a grain of salt when I start talking about colors. But black and yellow has, you know the song, I guess, has a good connotations. You guys were both rocking white the other day. You looked like you were forming a cult. We have already formed a cult, Johnny O. You know this, gang. You know we already have done that. Okay, so Diana's thinking after this move, and we're down a lot of time actually. Now that I look at it, her opponent has 1 hour and 18 minutes. Diana is down to 38 minutes. So 40 minutes down on the clock, which is, I mean, well, on the one hand, that's maybe not where we want to be, but on the other hand, that's where Diana usually ends up. So, you know, playing like Rishuk, getting good positions, down on time, just gonna have to play some quick moves in the end. But okay, on the other hand, we also already have played 16 moves here. There have been games where she was down to like 20 minutes by move 15, so in that perspective, I'm really annoyed by this room right at this moment. Always have the light in my face for some reason. Okay, are there any other interesting games that we would like to look at? Let's maybe look at how some of the other streamers are doing. I'm just quickly gonna load up the game tab on the big board so we can look at some other games, maybe while Diana's thinking. I think there's a couple good options here. I hope she doesn't play b3, maybe that would be... All the streamers lost again yesterday, wow. Streamers are having a tough time. I think Ellen and Anamaya were both having really good tournaments, and then they've just lost 3 in a row now, I think. So now the tournament, I mean, I think Ellen especially, I think she's still having a good tournament, but you know, still 3 losses in a row is never fun. So let's look at her game maybe. I think actually if Diana wins today and they lose again, they might have a chance of playing each other tomorrow, although both are white today, so maybe not. Okay, so let's look at this game by Ellen. Knight of 3 she played. I don't like people who play Knight of 3. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't like people who play c4. I don't like people who play Knight of 3. Don't like it. But okay, that's just me. Oh, symmetrical. What a joy. Okay. Disturbing it a little bit. Not a bad position, I would imagine. Pretty standard opening. Okay, intermediate move queen b3, taking it now, trading, giving black this isolated pawn. Isolated d pawn versus isolated c pawn. Pretty interesting. Black a little bit underdeveloped, but does have the bishop pair. Luke would think that compensates fully. Probably. I think this does not compensate fully for black, but okay. Let's see how it went. Interesting. Black running the kingside pawns, a bit like Diana style. Also the king on f7. Queen trade, and this is the position now. I mean, I think black is now a little bit happier with the bishop pair. Eventually they can open up a position like this and become even happier with it, so maybe I think black might be slightly better, but okay, lots still to do. computer says minus 0.5, which makes some sense to me. Okay, so there was a move played, queen e2 by Diana. Yeah, I like that move. I like that. I think that's a good move. I think we don't need to be hasty and play b3. I don't think we need to force it that much. I think we can still say, if white really wants to try to defend that pawn, I don't think they can really, but if they want to try, let's give them a chance. Let's give them a chance to hang themselves. We can think, yes, delete that arrow. We can just look at what was happening after what was suggested earlier by someone. I think if this happens, we can take, and then we might be able to take this as well. And then we have the structure where black's going to end up with an isolated pawn. And our rook's going to get kicked, but I think this is something we can say compensates for that little bit of a loss of tempo. I think this might be very scary for black. I think it might be okay, but in a practical game, I think this looks very scary to have this mass of pawns just running towards your king. Let's say maybe, I don't know, we could give this, we could attack the bishop for a second, but we could just also drop back, I guess. Or maybe, well, maybe we want to drop to c2. I'm not sure. But I guess we can't do this because we're gonna be running into this. So we have to be careful tactically, but yeah, I think positionally this wouldn't be a bad thing. How is it looking today? I think it's looking at the very least decent. Queen e2 was just played by Diana. We are just currently a pawn down, but we're winning it back, very likely. I guess black could also take here and then just castle now. But I think all of this should be okay for us. Like, I think this looks reasonable. No, again, we're walking into this, I'm sorry. I keep running into this tactic, so we're not doing that. That does not look like a good idea. Maybe we have to... Well, we could also take this pawn, and then we don't mind it as much. We also play a4. Or can we? What happens if this? I guess we can maybe take this and then takes here, and then we run back. And then we lose this pawn, but gain this one. Oh no, we can't again take this pawn because this tactic is there again. So we still have to, we always have to be careful about this annoying bishop. So definitely some annoying tactical opportunities there for white, black rather. Okay, so queen e2 and her opponent played rook c8. Okay, so she does want to defend this pawn. As I said, I'm not convinced by this approach. Not necessarily convinced. Maybe play rook here. And I think I'm always still thinking that if we can take the knight on d5, even though we're going to be a pawn down, I think that should be kind of all right for us. I can't bring myself to fully believe that this would be bad. We also play. Well, no, we can't do it. Can we? Can we play this? No, we can't really, because now knight d5 is actually annoying. I was looking for something like this, and then, you know, here, and then we're going to win the pawn back in the end with b3. But that doesn't look good, because knight d5 would then just actually be very annoying. We could also think of queen f2, and then maybe threatening this. That's an idea. And if black takes, then we take and threaten queen to bishop to b6, and then we ruin black's coordination and sort of force the queen to an awkward square. Lichess engine says queen f2 keeps advantage, b3 is even, and every other move is 0.5 or worse. Okay, so queen f2, I guess with the idea of controlling the dark squares. Let's just look at it. I mean, I guess we don't really use engines normally to analyze, but if we know, let's just look at the move. I mean, I guess, do you have to take? With black, I think, I mean, this is scary because after you take here, white takes here with check, so you don't have time to take the queen. So it's definitely a threat to take on e6. And how else do you defend it? Maybe you could do this, and then here, now it doesn't work anymore, because here, and now this bishop is protected. Or maybe you can just take it, because now actually your bishop's defended here as well. So actually that's bullshit, what I'm saying. That is not a variation that works out. Ignore me. So queen f2 and knight d5 is maybe an option. Or takes, I mean takes, but I like this. I like that we're coming in to b6. I'm not sure exactly what black plays, maybe castles or something. Here, and queen goes here, and I mean, this is at least very restricting. We're stopping the pawn from moving forward, controlling any space. We're controlling the c6 square for now as well, so I mean, black could go here, but doesn't maybe want to, because that's going to drop a pawn. Although I think we're going to win this pawn eventually anyway. I think we should. Of course, Diana can't quite think as casually about this as I can, because I don't have to win the pawn. I can just say I think we're going to win the pawn, but she will have to be sure in the game that she's actually not just going to permanently end up a pawn down. So I can definitely see why she would want to think here for a little bit longer. Because if she relies on winning that pawn back eventually, but then doesn't manage to, that's going to be bad. But okay, I think there's a small worry about the time situation. A little bit of a worry. We're on move 17, nice. And Diana's down to 28 minutes, so she needs to make 23 more moves for time control. And okay, she played queen to f2, that's good. As we just heard in chat, that's the computer move. We always like it when Diana makes computer moves. That's nice. So queen to f2 played. Oops, no, that's not the move. Queen to f2 played. Let's just make that the main line. And then we were thinking either bishop takes or knight d5, because this is a definite threat. So we're gonna have to see how our opponent decides to deal with that. Or our opponent might not see it at all. That's always an opportunity as well. let's say her opponent castles, I think actually it might not work then either, because we don't have this with check anymore. So actually castle might be fine, but yeah. Okay, I mean, I guess black would have to be very careless to mess things up in this particular position. Actually, she could make this move here, which would be really bad. But okay, I think we shouldn't be looking for bad moves for our opponent just yet. Maybe we trust her a little bit more than to blunder immediately. You might be scared to take. Well, as I said, I think we can also castle, and I think we can also play knight d5. To my mind, knight d5, if you figure out that this works tactically, I think knight d5 looks like the most appealing to me. Personally, I would think I would want to play knight d5 here, but of course you never know what her instincts are as a player. I mean, I think taking has, well, actually I think it just looks worse. Optically, I think taking just looks worse. Because, I mean, if you get this on the board and the bishop comes in here, I think this is just unpleasant. Let's say castles, and here, I guess you could also play this move, but then we're upping this, like basically voluntarily. We can't do this now because our queen would be hanging, although we are setting it up for the future, so maybe like queen d8 or something, or queen b8. I don't know. Then we're threatening this again. But yeah, actually now this would work, I think so. Yeah, definitely some things to think about here. So maybe her opponent might think for a little while here in this position. In this position, I think she has several options what she could do. And yeah, we'll see. Let's hope that she spends some time here, give Diana some time to think about the position on her opponent's clock, and also to just relax a little bit after she spent already an hour of her time basically in the first 18 moves. So yeah. Chat is so quiet today. Anybody here? Anybody here? Does anybody here have any opinions on the game state? You can also, if any of you guys want, like if you want to see some other game, just tell me in chat. We can look at some other games as well. Actually, I wanted to look at Narva Mai, or Mai Narva, I guess, against this player from France. I think this is an interesting matchup because Mai is Diana knows her from her earlier playing days. I think she's about the same age, and yeah, she's about 22. She's 22.76, and she's, I think, on 6 points or 6.5 points even. So she's like right at the top with all the GMs and IMs. So she's having a very, very strong tournament. That's kind of interesting to see how she's doing. Let's just see how the game went. So e4, e5, and Ruy Lopez. So far, so good. Not an expert in this sort of stuff, but looks pretty normal. Okay, so she went for c3, d4, and then a further expansion. Yeah, she is a WM herself, but she's still like 150 points lower than most of the people up there. So I think she's having a great tournament, and I think that's always interesting to see when someone sort of performs over their rating. Oh, okay. That's interesting. D6. And she spent a lot of time here. Her opponent was still at 1 hour and 31 minutes, so more time than she started with. Well, she spent 40 minutes, and then she played this D6 move. Got this kind of structure in, where black ends up with this backward D pawn. Hey, single malt. Luke is not there today, no. Luke is Luke is taking the day off. But he's actually a good player. Let's just be friendly, everybody. Certainly he's better than me, so if you're gonna call him a patzer, you're gonna have to call me like much worse things. Yeah, okay. So and then f5. So they actually spent even more time than Diana. They are only on move 14 after all this time. And let's see what the computer says to this position. It certainly looks very interesting. If I had to guess, I would think that structurally it looks a bit better for white. But at the same time, like the bishops kind of might come alive here. And for now, this bind that white has is being undermined. But okay, let's see what the computer has to say to it. Yeah, okay, so slightly better for white, pretty much like an opening advantage carried through. So yeah, I'm actually kind of rooting for her. I kind of want the underdog to do well, so I guess we keep an eye out on this game. Definitely an interesting one. Now let's calm down, everybody. Let's calm down there. Let's calm down, single malt. Let's just enjoy the games. Okay, calm down now. Come on. Not necessary to be so aggressive here. Okay, any other games we like to see? Maybe this one here. Josefine Heinemann, also from Germany. Also sometimes a streamer. If any of you guys know her. I think she's also done some stuff for Chess24, so I think she's a kind of a known person. Playing black here against Zala Ur. Going for an anti-Nimzo with knight f3. And going into Queen's Indian. I think I've seen her play this several times. Always kind of like this for black. I'm not a big fan of these positions for white, but I guess it should be objectively good. Oh, and they're just making a repetition, I guess. That's a bit interesting. I mean, they've repeated, let's see. That's once, twice. So they've had the position with bishop on e4 and queen on c2. They've had it twice. So if bishop d5, queen c2, bishop e4 ends up on the board, that's going to be a 3 times repetition, and that would be a very quick draw. We're not censoring anybody, single malt. Not censoring anybody. It's just we don't need any bad blood here in the chat. It's just friendly hangout. No need to get aggressive. No need to take it so seriously. Okay, any other games we'd like to see? I think Diana's opponent has not yet moved. He's down at 1 hour and 3 minutes now, so we're catching up a little bit on time, which is always nice. And Diana now also has time to think about the position without the pressure. Okay, let's see. Let's see what other games. Any suggestions? Does anybody have any interesting games we want to look at? Maybe we can look at some streamer games as well. Let's see how Laura is doing, maybe. She's black against Gabriela Antova from Bulgaria, I believe. Although I'm not 100% sure about that one. Protect the Keta at all costs. Exactly. Now the Keta can come back in the stream. Now we can have him back. Oh, finally, actually, the sun has dimmed a little bit here, so God bless the clouds. I'm feeling like I can breathe at least for a second. Like it's not 45 degrees in my face. Okay, so another anti-Nimzo. Actually, we've seen this a ton in this tournament. It's maybe, if I had to guess, this and maybe I don't know, the closed Rui Lopez or something. I've seen that quite a bit as well. I think those are some of the openings that we've seen come on the board most often. This anti-Nimzo stuff. Oh, okay. So then her opponent decided to go for e6, not e6, for d5, and sort of transition into this Queen's Gambit declined. So Laura opting for that kind of a thing instead of the Queen's Indian out of the anti-Nimzo that we've seen a bunch. Okay, and her opponent adopting this bishop f4 setup instead of the b3 bishop b2 setup. So far so standard, I guess. Bending off the light square bishops. I mean, this might just be a quick draw if I had to. I wouldn't be surprised if they just traded off things, and yeah, I mean, this must be, they just trade off all the pieces, symmetrical structure. I mean, black has a bishop, white has a knight, but okay, this bishop is sort of holding up off the knight for now, and I think in this position the bishop couldn't possibly have a great advantage over the knight. And I mean, might be wrong. Maybe the bishop will prove to have something to say about that. But I think for now, this should be probably going into a relatively quick draw, which is surprising because I would have thought that these players, I think they're just behind the leading group. They might have tried to get a win, so they are still in contention for the top 10 spots, which, as far as I know, at least 10 players will get a qualification spot for the Women's World Cup in 2022, I guess, or 2023. I'm not sure exactly. Anyway, for the next Women's World Cup. So I think people have definitely have something to play for just in this group, around like place 5 to maybe 25 or so, that they want to get up there. But this looks like a very peaceful game. So maybe let's move on from that. Let's look at maybe Anna Maya's game as well, if I can find it. She's probably down there a little bit now because she's lost a couple of games in a row. Here she is on board 40, playing black. Actually, I think if Diana wins today and Maya loses, because they have opposite colors, they might just be not unlikely to face each other, both being on 3.5 points if that should happen. Not right this instant, but can I get a review of Diana's game from the start with your commentary? I looked over, but I play the fantasy every time versus the Khan. So I was clueless by move 6-ish. Okay, sure. Sure, Johnny O, we can do that. Okay, so we went into the Caro-Kann advanced variation. Bishop f5 and then knight c3, which was our preparation. Our opponent, she went into this a6 line, which, I mean, we did not expect this. So actually this is kind of where the prep ended already, like the very concrete prep. But I think the ideas still remain kind of similar. So Diana went for g4. I'll just quickly show what our prep position was. So the most standard move would be e6. It's by far the most often played move, and then g4, also very common in this position. And then we were planning to go for this knight e2 line instead of playing h4 right away. So knight e2, c5, h4, h5, knight here, and then there's one option of taking this pawn right away with the knight, which looks leads to a pretty equal position, which is, you know, okay for both sides. But Diana wanted something a little bit more ambitious, a little bit more aggressive. So g5. And the plan was here that after c takes d4, knight b5, the idea was to capture back with this knight, if it ever came to that. And I think here black must find this move to keep a reasonable position. If they try to do something else, like say, I don't know, there's a couple things they can try, like this, for example. But this also always fails to queen takes, or not, doesn't fail to necessarily, but this leads to unpleasant positions. Because now we're threatening this because of this pin, so black is going to have to play something very unpleasant like g6. And we were pretty sure that her opponent wouldn't want to go into this. I think this is objectively not so bad for black, but it looks really, really bad. I think it looks really bad for, you know, reasons of visual unpleasantness. I think this is going to be very hard to play for black, even if it's okay. Okay, so that's sort of the variation we had in mind, and it continues like this. Bishop e4, we push the bishop back, take this pawn. Black protects the bishop, wants to keep the structure. We insist to attack this structure, and now we always have ideas of g6 as well. Ideas of dropping the knight back, fixing the structure, putting the knight to a good square, playing c3 eventually, and that kind of thing. It ends up in these structures where white has a lot of dark square control, further advanced kingside pawns. If it ever gets to an endgame, it should be pretty decent. Okay, so that was prep. In the game, something quite different happened. So g4, she dropped her bishop back right away. Here, bishop g2, which I personally didn't love that much. I personally didn't love it that much because I think we decided where the bishop goes a little bit too early. I think we would have liked to keep it flexible and make some less committal moves first, where we know where we want to go. And then we had the chance to maybe develop the bishop here at some point, or develop the bishop to h3, where we can support this f4, f5 advance. But okay, she decided on bishop g2 right away. Her opponent played e6, and now this bishop again looks a bit sad. Like at this point you don't even really understand that this is the Caro-Kann anymore. You can also think like this is the terrible French bishop, where we played a weird move. I think this was a good opening on the whole. And then we got this in with c3, bishop a5. Then we castled kingside, which is another thing we were maybe not fully happy with analyzing. We were thinking maybe she could have moved her queen first to some square, kept the option open of going for queenside castles. But I think kingside castle is a perfectly fine move. You bring the rook to the f file, supporting any f breaks that you might attend in the future. Also, I think even though the pawns on the king side are already pushed up, I think we don't have to really worry about it that much, because you know things are pretty safe for now. Because black is not going to want to break on the king side too early because of the difficulties he's going to have in finding a safe place for the king. So short castles was played, and then rook c1 and rook c4, which also maybe a little bit hasty. Okay, but okay. Let's see, moves are happening, so we're just going to go to the board. Let me just quickly see what happened. This didn't happen. So after queen f2, our opponent played queen to b8, which seems just very wrong for the reasons we suggested earlier. I think this still works, because you have different checks now. So let's just see. Bishop takes was played, and then that's the problem here. Diana's pointing it out. Knight takes g7, king f8, and we have queen takes, and aren't we just up? Well, we're not up material, but aren't we just gonna, like... We won 2 pawns for the piece. We were down this pawn, so we're actually, I guess, down 2 points of material, but this looks awfully scary. Like... I mean, this queen looks ridiculous. This is coming in. F5 was also played, so Diana's threatening these sorts of things. Queen is coming in, pawns threatening to fork. Well, I mean, I'm no tactical wizard, but like this looks pretty awful for black, even though black's up material. Like, what does black do here? Like here and after, you're gonna have to deal with this. Like, let's say you move your knight or something. Where do you even move your knight? Let's say, I don't know, your knight can't even move anywhere. Like, you can move here, I guess. But then, surely you're getting mated somehow. Let's see, here. No, not here, I guess, because you have king j8. Maybe check first. And then, where does the king go? I mean, it must go here, I suppose, because here you're getting mated. Here maybe. Like, I think we can all agree that this looks pretty dead for black, doesn't it? I mean, we're still up material as black, but I don't see what you can do here. Like, you can't do this, because I think you're getting mated. Actually, I mean, I guess you can take the check, but what do you do here? This is mate. This is mate. I don't see how you defend it. Take the bishop, that's just mate in 1. So, yeah. Yeah, Henry. Hi, by the way. Hello. The small board is the live one. Small board is the live board. The big board is the analysis board. The current position, I went off on a bit of a tangent here, but the current position is f5. I think this is the current position. And we were just figuring out where to bring the knight. Because, well, we can also, I guess we can try to move the king. But I think, nonetheless, we're going to have to, well, maybe the knight can come here. Move here. Yeah, maybe this isn't so clear. Maybe this isn't so clear. Maybe we have something else. Oh, no, of course we have this, don't we? Because we have this rook on the e file. On the f file, I mean. So this, they can't do this because they would lose here. What else can they do? Not much. I mean, bishop moves, then like I think you can do a lot of things here. Rook here or rook here, maybe even. No, actually, rook here, maybe even they can push. So, or here actually. Let's think about this one. Like, I think this must all be winning. Like, I can't imagine that there's any way that any of these lines is not winning. But okay, Diana has 25 minutes to figure it out. Her opponent has 54 minutes. She went into this, I don't quite understand what her opponent was thinking. I'll just quickly show the moment where we think it goes wrong for her opponent. She plays after, oh no, that's not the main line, sorry about that. After queen to f2, here she plays queen to b8, which is, I mean, certainly a very strange move. I was thinking earlier, I was saying earlier that if her opponent tried too hard to hang on to this pawn, if her opponent tries too hard to hang on to this pawn, that just might be her downfall, and that might get her pieces tangled up, and that might lead to her getting into real trouble in the center. And it seems like that's kind of what this move is trying to do, right? You unpin the queen, or you unpin this pawn, I guess. You pull the queen out of the pin, and say, okay, now you're going to have to do something. But of course, I don't understand how she could have missed this, because like the whole point of queen f2 is surely to set up tactics against this bishop. I guess she thought that if I move the queen away, she's no longer going to have these tactics here, because let's say if black had made a silly move that doesn't involve moving the queen, we would have had this, and then black cannot afford to take here because we're going to take here with check, and black has no time to take the queen, because you know they have to do with the check first. So that's kind of what the original tactic was, but I guess black missed that white would still have the same principle, even if it doesn't win material. If we go here, it just blows up the center too much. A very nice move by Diana, I think. Very, very, very strong move. To play this, she played it very quickly as well. I think this is just right up her alley. This kind of sacrifice for initiative and for an attack. Because I think, yeah, after takes, knight takes g7, everything is just opening up so much that you are going to be in some real trouble. as black here. How many points does Diana have? Actually, Diana has 2.5 day points after getting a full point buy yesterday. We are hoping. Hey Einsteiny, by the way, how are you doing today? Welcome, and also Robert, California. Nice to see everybody here. I think we're getting closer to the hours where the people usually start watching. Right in time to see Diana crushing through. Well, at least we think she is. Someone was saying, Halvard, what did you say? You said some move. I like how knight g6 is the best move now. Is over. Oh, so you're saying the computer says knight g6 is best, or what? Yes, Poly4. I can just quickly show Laura's game again if you want. Actually, let's just quickly turn on the engine and see how Anamaya is doing. A little bit worse, I guess, but reasonable. And let's see how Laura is doing. She was in a very boring game, if I may say so, I think, earlier. They were just trading off all their pieces and ended up in a very symmetrical structure. Bishop against knight, I mean, some chances, I guess, but like this looks like it must be a relatively quick draw, which is kind of surprising, as I said earlier. It's a bit surprising that they aren't trying to go for it a little bit more, because I think World Cup spots are on the line here, and they are just outside of the range where you might get these spots. I think they're just maybe like rank 15 to 20, somewhere in that range, and I think the top 10 or a couple more maybe, depending on some factors. I'm not sure exactly how it's determined how many seeds the tournament gets, but it's at least 10 seeds for the World Cup, so I would have thought that people are trying hard to get one of those. But yeah, we'll see. Let's just quickly check the engine. It says 0.0 as expected, because this position looks kind of dead boring to me. You can also, I guess, check back on some other streamers. Maybe we can look at Andrea's game. Well, actually, let's look at Valentina's game for a second. Valentina is a good friend of Diana's. She's playing black here against a 2194 rated opponent, so pretty strong. Let's see what happened there. Both players playing very quickly. Both players at 1 hour and 34 minutes by move 12. I think at that point in Diana's game, Diana was down to like, maybe 40 minutes. Thank you for following, M. Vroglic. Thanks, welcome to the stream. Gang, everybody. We need to introduce them to the gang sign. Okay, so let's see how this game went. That's an interesting move there. Bishop b6 and then bishop takes d8, taking the knight on d8. Looks a bit strange, but maybe that makes sense. Also, it seems to have been pretty deep preparation, or pretty solid preparation at least, because they're both playing quite quickly. Actually, White spent some time at that point before castling. Spent 25 minutes. And now we ended up in this position where Valentina seems to be doing some attacking, white has a decent structure, pawn structure wise, but might be in some trouble here. Let's see what the engine says. No trouble. No trouble apparently. I mean, I'm not sure if we have to take too seriously what it's saying, because this position, I think things could still happen here for sure, although maybe black doesn't really have that much to do. But I mean, if you bring the knight in somehow, you know, and then push some pawns, there's always opportunities. Always opportunities here. I think Valentina might be looking for some chances to win. I think if anything, you're going to take black here, because black's just much more active. Although you have to be careful about ideas like this at some point, of course, because you know, pins are all over the place. So black's rook is pinning the knight, queen is pinning, everything's pinned. But okay, let's look further. Well, actually, let's look back to Diana's game, because her opponent played king to f8. Again, she's playing reasonably quickly. She still has 47 minutes. I'm not sure if she thinks she has it all figured out, or if she's thinking, oh god, I messed up so badly, or she's thinking that, okay, I'm just up material and she doesn't have an attack, in which case she should definitely think for much longer than this. I think e6 here must be an obvious move, because you have this lineup, you're attacking a bishop, they sort of have to react. I think e6 is definitely the first move you look at here. Maybe combined with queen to h6. So you look at the checks, you look at e6. And she immediately played e6 actually. And Halvard's saying black can just resign here. Well, I agree, black can just resign here. I don't think anybody's resigning anymore against Diana after what happened in that game against Narva, against Trine Narva. I always want to say the name in the wrong order for some reason, but Trine Narva is her name. Yeah, she definitely, I don't think anybody's resigning. I think they all took Luke's advice, but I think she's going to put this one away. This looks very, 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 very promising. I can't even, I don't know. Okay, bishop c6 was played. Opponent's playing quickly, but this must be completely dead. Yes, I'm knocking on wood here. Like, she's gonna... I hope this is wood. It feels a little bit like, you know, but I think it's wood coated in plastic. It doesn't actually look anything like wood, so maybe it's not even wood. Maybe it's just... I don't know. But anyway, I'm knocking on something. But this must just be too good. Too good. Very nice. And all the pieces are still on the board. Well, not all the pieces, but like enough pieces are still on the board. No simplification. And she has time. It's 22 minutes. I think she has plenty of time to figure this out. But I think we can play a lot of things here. I think we could probably give a check. Probably play rook e1 or something. Well, actually, I'm still not a fan of that. But we could probably play f6 and this. And I mean, you have these pawns in your face and you're not getting rid of them. Queen h6, king e8, e takes f, f6. Okay. Here, ef. And then f6. Yeah, well, yes, I agree. Like this must be this must be really, like, really dead. I don't see really what you can do. If you want to move your rook, you're going to lose this. Your knight's hanging, everything's hanging. Everything is hanging. And I mean, we can all see this queen here on b8, like, I think all by instinct we knew that queen b8 was probably not right. And I think this position sort of proves that queen b8 was definitely the wrong move. The queen looks a bit ridiculous on b8. It's not defending, it's not attacking, it was just a move that her opponent played to get the queen out of the way, and that's exactly where the queen is now. Very far out of the way. Very far out of the way of everything. So Diana might be one of the first games to finish today, I think. There have been 2 draws. Actually, Andrea made 1 draw. Andrea is what's her name on Twitch? Someone remind me. Alcium on Twitch. Oh, Andy Rect. Oh, that's a different Andrea. Yeah, she's also a streamer. Andrea Navotescu from France. She played Diana this tournament already. Had a good game, but eventually Diana lost. But she's very strong. She's a WGM, I think. 2253, if I remember the rating correctly. So yeah, definitely some stronger position in this tournament. And after if Diana wins today, yeah, WM, that might be true. Might be true. Yeah, Diana got a bye yesterday. She is on 2.5. That's true. And and if Diana wins today, she's going to be on 3.5. Meanwhile, some of the other streamers, including Ellen and Anamaya, both on 3.5 as well at this point. So if they lose today, there might be some chances for a streamer battle in the final round to duke it out for the, WFM streamer prize. Actually, Anamaya is an FM, not a WFM. So that's actually not correct what I'm saying. Now I want to learn this line with Khan, as I like the position your prep landed at, and absolutely love this game. Yeah, well, actually, yeah, I agree. I think, this exact position you're probably not going to get too often, because I think we saw earlier that a6 was played by her opponent, and you're not going to get too many people playing that against you, I'm afraid. I think in master games, the database says that e6 has been played 1,768 times and a6 has been played 198 times. So yeah, for sure there's some degree of unlikeliness that you're going to get this exact line that we went down. But I think these g4 lines, I think they're all similarly venomous, actually. And I can just show for people who weren't there what the original prep kind of was. I mean, I don't think we need to hide it anymore because she's going to have black tomorrow. And well, I hope we don't have to hide it anymore. I think it should be safe to show it. I actually showed it already anyway, so whatever. So this was the preparation. Knight c3 and then g4. Oh no, that's not the line. And then, I mean, after e6, g4, and c5, h4, and then this. I mean, h6 here is also possible, but maybe less intuitive. Here you can just take the pawn, but we wanted something aggressive. Diana wanted something aggressive, something that, isn't maybe as straightforward. Went for this. Here black has to find bishop e4, otherwise black's already in kind of a lot of trouble. If you play sort of an unassuming move here, you're going to have some trouble against this kind of thing. Your pawn's going to be pinned. You need to do something about that. You have to play something like g6, and that looks very unpleasant, even if it might be okay objectively. So you have to find this move, and then you sort of get into this position where you have some very clear plans as white. You can move your knight out of the way, cement the structure, and play, the just a normal game. But I think the idea was that her opponent might well go wrong. And at any of these points, it's not at all easy. Like, we tried some practice games, and it's not at all easy to find these moves without like knowing the dangers and the ideas of the opening. So this is not a game. This is just the preparation line that we had in mind. But this is how the game actually went. The bishop gets put back to d7 and then sort of locked in by e6. So I think we could claim a little bit of a success there out of the opening. And then I think we went for a little bit of a hasty c4. And then, okay, our opponent played this weird queen b8 move and got kind of executed. At least we hope she's getting executed. Let's see. We had some more moves. Wait, no, this is not the line we went down. Not knight c6. What was played was king f8. And then e6, bishop c6. And then knight, wait, hold on. f6 and knight to g6. So this was played. I kind of liked Alvard's line. So instead of f6, just giving this check, and this check, and then this. So I think black couldn't have even really taken here, but this looks so desperate. I think I like this line. It seemed a little bit more straightforward, but okay, this looks what Diana actually did. Wait, no, this is not it. I have too many lines open, I'm sorry. So, too many lines. So here, 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 here. Oh, and actually, she hasn't played f7. e7, I mean. Okay, so this is where we are right now. Just make this a main line so I don't lose it again. And Diana's thinking here. I mean, can probably still do pretty much anything here. Like if you take, oh, I guess you shouldn't take because this is protected by the knight and you don't have your pawn on h4 yet. So that might not be something you want to do, but let's say you play, I don't know, let's say queen h6 now. You have to play queen e8, king e8, I mean. King g8, of course, mate in 1. And then, I don't know, like rook here. I would probably still find a way to lose this position. I mean, you know, definitely true that this is still, there's still something to be messed up here. Like, still things you can mess up for sure. But okay, let's just trust Diana on this. Queen to c5 was played. Okay. Probably just equally good, I would imagine. Well, I mean, it looks a bit more awkward because of, you know, these things. But I imagine this should be working. I mean, you know, this must be good enough. Like, I don't know where you even put your king. Very unpleasant. Just go back and then maybe. And I mean, you might have to find some moves that are slightly accurate. But let's say you even play this, and then here have this check, and now this bishop being annoying isn't in the position anymore. You have access to this square. You can threaten some stuff like here, and then you give a check, and you give more checks, and you're going to mate them in some way. So I'm pretty sure that this must be just dead winning. Diana also has 15 minutes still, so let's see what happened in the game. Okay, queen c5, let's just make it the main line so we can lose it again. Queen c5, king g8, e takes, king takes, and Diana's thinking. I think queen takes c5 is a natural move. Queen takes c4, I mean. Okay, queen takes c4 is played. And now we're only down a little bit of material. So, and we of course have this raging attack. And yeah. Queen takes c4 played. Both of them are playing very quickly. Her opponent has 45 minutes. I'm not exactly sure why she's playing so quickly. I'm not sure if she's just basically given up, or maybe wants to hope that she can put Diana in some time pressure and that she might mess up if she plays quickly or something. Or if she just thinks, okay, there's nothing to figure out here anyway. I mean, sure, it's forced, but like, for example, I don't think King g8 was forced. King f8 was forced. I think she could have thought about some other things here. But okay, I mean, she played quickly. We don't mind that, especially if she plays bad moves. So yeah, knight g6 best try. I mean, okay, that move is a bit computery for sure. So I can't blame her for not finding that one. But we like how this is looking. I think this should be. I think you know, Diana has enough time. Yeah, sure. You need to give back some material, but you know, figuring out the best way, and figuring out that knight g6 actually does something for you. But you know, that's better than just giving it up by getting forked or something. You need to find that in some way. But yeah, I mean, better try than king f8. Yeah. Although, I mean, okay, you give your opponent some chances to go wrong. You play king f8, you maybe don't give them that many chances to go wrong if you just give the material back immediately. I think if you give the material back, then the computer might not think it's as good, but this light is very, very annoying. Very annoying. Too many of them. Okay. I bet Hikaru could find enough tricks to draw this for black. I mean, I don't think this is up to finding tricks anymore. I think you don't have many tricks here. I think you're going to be chased around the board. I think the only trick that black can find here is like, you know, I don't know, making an illegal move and seeing if white catches it or something. This is extremely tricky. Yeah, well, I'm not sure if this is so tricky anymore. Like, black doesn't have many choices here. King e8, king f8. Actually, like, you know, I mean, you could play bishop d5, but that doesn't do anything for you. So king e8, king f8 are the only moves. If you go to for king e8, then, I mean, I guess you're just gonna collect this free check. And then, I mean, let's play this out. Rook e1, maybe this rook to e1. Actually better, because actually king can't come back to attack the pawn anyway. So let's use this one maybe, and then, I mean, well, I guess maybe maybe you don't want to allow this actually. Can you do this or something? So to draw this away and then it might be mate or something. No, I don't see it. Actually, this might not be winning. Well, I mean, okay, you still need to be a little bit careful. But, I mean, I don't doubt that there's plenty of things you can do here. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think you can mess it up for sure, but if you play like as careless as I just did. But if you think about it and both players have a lot of time on their clocks, I mean, black has 41 minutes, Diana has 15 minutes, but 15 minutes should be plenty of time to figure this out. Yeah, exactly. That's what I would be saying. Good thing I'm not Hikaru. Well, good in some ways, less good in others, I guess. Wouldn't mind having some fraction of his chess skill. But, you know, we do what we can. You bet $1 million. Okay, I'll take that bet easily. I mean, I'm sure that if I have, like, I don't know, 15 minutes, I think 15 minutes should be enough. But like, I think if I have an hour, let's say, I think there's nothing Hikaru can do here, even against me. So. And there are stronger players than me in the chat. Halvard, for example. Well, I don't think Magnus is here, but if you know, actually Anton Karabov might have been here earlier, so you might be out of luck there. Definitely, my name is Kanif, because we potentially had a 2700 player in the chat earlier. Well, I think we're all sleeping when Hikaru is playing. I think we're all, like, most of us here are in a different time zone. I think Johnny-O might be in the American time zone. 2700 troll. Yeah. I mean, you never know. You never know. He might be the real deal. Yeah, Johnny-O up early. Dedicated Diana watcher. That's how we like it. Okay, King E8 was played. I mean, that looks even stranger to me than King F8, but sure. But okay, Diana must figure this out. I mean, let's just play this again, I guess. We didn't want to chase too far, maybe. So maybe we do something else. Maybe we give a check with the queen instead, so we can bring a rook over and do this. But maybe that's also like, you know, not entirely, I mean, you know, not entirely impossible that you could mess it up somehow. But maybe you could go here and then say, okay, I mean, congratulations, you got your king there, but where's it going now? Why is Diana always playing the last boards based on rating? It's based on score. Score in the tournament. I mean, the first round it's based on rating, and then it's based on score. Bishop takes c6. Oh yeah, sure. I don't know. What do you do here? This is the winningest position of the tournament today. You mean of all the games going on right now, or of all the games she's had before? I bet $7 billion that the girl will resign in 2 moves. Well, let's go then. I'll take your 7 billion. I'll bet you, I don't know, my empty Coke can in return, if you want. But it doesn't really matter since you're not going to win anyway. Gonna resign on this move instead. Anyway, this was not played. So after king e8, Diana's been thinking. 12 minutes left. What if we play this, by the way? This is just not good. Because now maybe, oh, well, not there. That would be a bit of a disaster. I mean, okay, there's still some chances for sure to mess it up. Like, but this must still be completely winning if we look at it like dispassionately. Because after this, I mean, you always have this check. Don't need to be worried about discoveries. If queen e6 or f7 check work? Well, I'm not so sure about f7 check. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it loses some of the advantage, maybe. And queen e6 check. This knight is very annoying. I mean, I wish we had our pawn on h4 or something. But, I mean, let's say this. And if this wins, this may be a nice move. Now that I think about it. So I guess you're gonna have to end with your rook or with your queen. I guess with your queen, so it gets into the game again. Now your bishop's pinned. Maybe play this, or I guess you could maybe try to get to the h6 square. Like this, or actually, okay, I guess like this, maybe. So maybe you can do this and threaten here, and then that would be probably too much. And if the king runs here, you can now give these checks. You do look a bit like Dubov. See if you can find the mate. I look like Dubov. Also, is there a mate? Is there a forced mate? That would be nice. I hope that's true. Diana's down to 8 minutes. I hope she finds it soon. Not to pressure her or anything, but we'd like a nice little quick, clean finish here. The line I'm showing is possibly the worst one. So what's the best one then? I didn't mind my line at all, actually. Wait, so is this a mate in 16 you're saying, Mads? Is this a forced mate? Or what? Queen e8 is the best move. What do you mean? It's white's move. So you're saying... What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean. Like, there's a king on e8. Take the king. So like this. See, Lichess won't even let me draw an arrow like that. We can have to, you know... I don't know what you're saying, actually, if I'm going to be entirely honest. You can also think about things like this, and then what if we bring the queen over like this, and maybe they give a check, and then they have this check, and then they trade rooks. Yeah, so that maybe doesn't work because this is a check. Oh well, okay. Okay, so Diana played some move, I think, king e8. Where are we? Okay, here she played bishop to e4. Okay, trying to remove the knight, saying if you take here, I'm just going to take here with check, and then I'm going to come in. So let's say, I don't know what happens if you take. Oh, actually now you can do this probably, yeah? King f8, and then this, and this. So actually that's completely lost. So taking is out of the question. You're gonna have to play something else if you're black. Maybe like, I don't know, queen c7 again or something. And what do you take? Do you take the bishop? Do you take the knight? Well, actually, maybe you don't want to take the knight now because, like, you know, the opponent plays queen d6, then Diana's done for. What do you mean done for? Queen d6, you're saying? Okay. What if I just attack your queen? Where are you gonna go? I'm gonna take your knight eventually. I'm gonna bring in my queen. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you're gonna play here. Oh yeah, Mats. It's not accurate today because Luke isn't in today. He didn't have time today. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not looking at an engine here, so if you tell me that this is suddenly somehow holding, I mean, I can't disprove you. What do you mean rook d8? You mean rook d1? Rook d8 is not a legal move for white. Nothing else works. So rook cd8 or rook fd8 or what? I mean, I'm just assuming you're meaning this. But like, what else are you going to play? Isn't that a very obvious move to play? I think that's a very obvious move to play, but it doesn't matter. She played. Oh no, never mind. Her opponent didn't play yet. Never mind. Commando back. Thought you played a move there, but you didn't. I'm getting. I didn't mean bishop before is obvious. I'm saying rook to d1 is obvious. I'm saying rook to d1 is obvious if you're going to play queen d6. Because, I mean, I'm getting cranky. Well, I don't know about that. I just want Diana to finish it off before she gets too low on time. Okay, but she has 8 minutes left. Should be good. Nah, nobody can crack me, Dermot. Nobody can crack me. Even Diana can't make me angry. So, I think this person has no chance. But now that you mention it, I can eat something. Very nice. Very nice baked goods here. It's like apple strudel, but Romanian version, and it's very good and very cheap. No, I'm not. I'm not mad. My name is not. My name is Kenneth. I don't mind at all. I'm just saying I'm not using an engine, so I can't disprove what you're saying. I can't disprove what you're saying, and I just have a hard time believing that this is going to be anything but a pretty clean conversion by Diana. Apple strudel, yes. Well, it's maybe it's not. Maybe it's not English, but I don't know what I would call it in English other than that. This is 1-0. Yeah, I wish it was. I wish he had already resigned so we can, get the rest of nervousness out of our systems. And then, after this game, Diana's still going to be down a couple rating points, but she's going to play someone good tomorrow, probably. Some person at 3.5 points. Might be a streamer battle. Could be playing Anamaya, for example. Which definitely would be fun. Definitely would be fun, at least to commentate. It might also, get us some extra viewership if we can get people in for the drama of the whole thing. Looking forward to Diana playing up. Yeah, Diana playing up, playing with black. She already had one brilliant position where she was crushing someone playing up with black. Gonna have to hope that you can do the same thing again. I think there's actually one person over her that she wouldn't be playing up against. I think there's like one 1800 or 1700 even doing quite well, having a couple wins and Dubai, but she could play her as well next round. Why the would we care if Broadway open or no? What are you saying? Guys, so I think Broadway is planning on reopening soon, but people in protesting in outrage over that due to COVID safety measures, but I think they're open. But have you been vaxxed? At least that's how it is for concerts. I'm not sure what you're saying exactly. I do like my show tunes, Dermot. I do like my musicals. I've only been to Broadway itself one time. I watched Matilda with a friend of mine in New York, which was very nice. Have you guys ever been to Broadway? Seen a show? Let me know how it was. I think Diana's also quite into these musicals. It's because you haven't got follow the chat, so people come in and spam, don't care about what's going on in the stream. Yeah, well, I don't mind. Like, people can come in and say whatever they want. At least, to the degree of being semi-decent people. Okay, so her opponent's finally using some of her time. Maybe she doesn't want to have the quickest loss of the round. I didn't know they made a musical of Matilda. They did. It was very nice. Very nice. Diana's crazy about that one Alexander Hamilton. My favorite musical. Well, I'm not exactly sure. I've never actually seen Hamilton. I've only heard the music. But Hamilton's probably good. I also really liked Avenue Q, which is a bit of an obscure one. don't think it's a Broadway one. Avenue Q was fun. Also, like Beetlejuice, they made it into a musical like after the movie. I mean, it was already a musical movie, I guess, but they made it like a proper musical. I mean, maybe they remade it. I'm not sure if it was like a musical before it was a movie, but I'm sure it's now, you know, a musical after it was a movie again. Ah, did we get a follow? There's okay. From my name is Kenneth. Thank you for the follow. 4,894 followers. That's not bad. Maybe we can reach 4,900 before. Well, I'm not sure. I don't think it was. I also saw it on YouTube. As I said, I've only been Queen C7. I've only been to Broadway one time, and that was for Matilda. I like the Schadenfreude song, Dermot. That one's fun. I wanted to get Diana to sing it on stream because we had that. Like nobody remembered that apparently, but like she's still due to sing a musical song of my choice on stream. I'm gonna have to remind her of that at some point. She's conveniently forgotten it. Okay, so interesting. I guess Queen C7 arguing that now you don't have this check anymore, so you don't need this avenues of escape via C7. But is that correct? I'm not sure, because what if we take the knight, takes, and then play rook e1? I mean, let's see about that. Let's say bishop takes here. I guess it maybe doesn't work because you might run out of checks, and then you're in real trouble. Because the king can probably run here, so that might actually be a losing attempt. That might be a losing attempt for white. Don't want none of that. My girlfriend who lives in Canada. Yeah, that one's not bad either. And wait a minute, that wasn't played. I wish it would have been played. That would have been a nice and easy finish. Okay, so Queen C7. And what do we play? We can't take the knight, I don't think. I think, yeah, I mean, everything must be winning. You say that, but it's not quite true, is it? Because I think that's not winning. Or maybe I missed something in that line, but I don't think that was winning. Hmm. Maybe we can take the bishop instead. And if the queen takes, maybe now we have this. And because eventually we might have some, I guess the knight is still doing a good job of protecting these squares, so any check and win the queen business isn't really on for now. But if this, maybe we can go here or something, and then, no, I don't know. But okay, should still be winning, I imagine. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see how black concretely sets up a defense, but also it's also not entirely trivial to see the win. Okay, so Diana played f7. 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 I guess. Oh man, is this okay? Someone's saying it's a computer draw. I hope that's. Ugh. Is it really? Okay, so let's look at some different lines. I mean this, and you can resign, obviously. So there's only one move. Because after this, I mean, you can just win this, I guess. But after this, I mean, Black's king has some shelter. And what's Diana planning? Like this. And this. And what then? Oh, and then c6 can't take the rook. Yeah, true. Okay, sorry. My bad, but still. I think that would have been... Maybe you can just push on f8 as well. But what do you do here? Did we actually mess it up? Did we actually mess it up? Looks like she's gonna have to... I guess you guys all have the engine, so I'm just not gonna argue with you there. Oh, that we can't lose another one game, please no. Or we can't draw another one game. That would be devastating. Oh, she's also down to 2 minutes. We have 10 moves to go. No, but someone earlier said that the engine says this is a draw now. Diana only has 2 minutes left. 2 minutes against her opponent's 30. So something to worry about there on that front for sure. But what else? What else are we doing? We can also play this maybe. Maybe this is better. But actually, I don't see why it would be. Like, if we trade down, I think we're just probably lost or something because we're still down a piece. Queen e6 on the board. Queen e6, huh? Okay. Queen d7, you're saying? Is that a forced queen trade? Yeah, I guess you don't have any such nonsense like this. So queen d7 and... And if takes, we can take here. That should be winning for us. So that doesn't work. What can black do then? I guess there's have a check. And then they can take. Because this isn't mate. And we can't do this because the knight still protects. So that doesn't work. Okay, so time is 27 minutes for black, 2 minutes 30 seconds for white. Not enough versus too much. We don't think like that, Jonio. We think enough versus too much. Also, our opponent has not been shy about blundering without using her time, so why should she start with good time management now? And let's actually quickly look for the correct main line. I mean, it's definitely time control isn't really approaching. 10 more moves to make. Yeah, 10 more moves to time control. Don't tell me she's gonna... No, she can't. She can't not win this. But actually, I mean, it looked so good, but there was still definitely room to go wrong. Like, if we had allowed the king to run to c7, that might also have gotten complicated. So definitely difficult to finish it off there. Definitely difficult. Yeah, wouldn't we all to have like to have more time? But I thought like we had 15 minutes and I thought it should have been okay, but maybe it was just a little bit too little time. Just too little to figure it out completely. Rook f2, I mean, that sounds pretty slow. I mean, it depends on what, I mean, black first has to make a move before we can even think about stuff. So Halvard was suggesting queen d7 and thinking this here, but I guess you have this. So and then rook takes, so you don't lose your rook. Then if we take, I mean, this knight is just very, very nice. Like, this knight is such a good defender. Yeah, I mean, this knight just covers all the, and earlier it covered these squares from checks. This knight has just been doing a great job on g6. Knight h4. I mean, think in the wrong moment it might lose you the game. In the right move, like, because you also have, you know, things like this to look out for. But maybe in some lines, sure. But okay, let's go back a little bit. I mean, look, if our opponent doesn't see this check, he's not gonna play queen d7, right? Because this would just lose on the spot. I think anything else but the check loses on the spot. So there's definitely a chance that he doesn't play that. What else is there? What else can Black do? I mean, that's actually one sort of, you know, ray of light here in this position. Black really doesn't have that many moves. Maybe we can move the rook out of the way first, so that, you know, this stuff is no longer on. That's a possibility. Yeah, exactly, Daniel. This knight is just on a very good square. Knight's on a very good square. Okay, so let's see. Maybe here, 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 or something. I mean, this is still... I still wouldn't necessarily feel too confident as Black here. I mean, you guys can tell me how you feel about this, but I would still be a little bit scared. I mean, let's say you're gonna be down the knight, okay? Let's say like here, and you trade, and you take this pawn. How bad could this really be? How bad could this really be? Because I think for now you can't take it, because, you know, rook a7 is going to pick up that knight. So let's say if this position comes on the board, you're down a piece, but maybe white is still the one looking for stuff here. The rook's also, like, you know, kind of entombed. But I guess you can maybe take this pawn, so. Yeah, rook's pretty dead for sure. The rook is pretty dead. And these pawns, I mean, can get them going. And at that point, we'll have reached time control as well, probably. This would have been move... Actually, only 34. Never mind. There will still be time to go for time control. So some important decisions will have to be made before time control for sure. I hope turns out well for Diana. It's okay, so I guess we're thinking that queen d7 might be best, but it might be vulnerable to some tactics, so you would have to see the entire line to play that. And if she doesn't see that, there might be some... She's definitely still not out of trouble, Black is. Like, even if you guys are saying the engine says it's a draw now, I don't think that's necessarily the most relevant thing here in this position, what the engine thinks. Big thing from her opponent. Yeah, she's been thinking for, let me see, 11 minutes. She has 18 minutes left. Getting the time situation a little bit closer. Okay, Ellen made a draw, it seems like, and I'm seeing on my feed. Ellen seems to have made a draw, which would put her on 4 points. Let me just quickly see the game. Because her opponent is taking her time and thinking. And I think a lot depends on what exactly the move is going to be. I think we left it kind of around here. A lot of trades on the bishop pair, trades off the bishop pair. Oh, and it's like, what? That's not a legal move, but that's just them putting the kings in the center for a draw. Okay, so draw there on Ellen's board. I think she still has good chances if she manages time well, but still sad from f7 ruining a lecture where they run over her opponent. Yeah. I think some of these queen h6 lines that Havard was saying as well, queen h6 and then taking on e7, those seemed more concrete, more quickly leading to a win. I'm sure. Let's just quickly look over those again. Let's say before she played queen c5, I think queen h6, and then you're forcing your opponent to sort of the right side of the board. And then, I mean, if captures queen g7 and things are just falling apart, like king is going to run somewhere, but like, yeah. But okay, not meant to be. So we are not at this position, we are in this position right now. I mean, it's still very exciting stuff for sure. Like, anything can happen. I would imagine 3 results are possible here. Like, black can easily mess this up. White, I mean, has already kind of let it slip a little bit, but can definitely, you know, let it slip fully. We're thinking maybe it's possible to get into an endgame where white might be down a piece but up a lot of pawns and has activity for the rooks, and white might even be a little bit better in that endgame even though they're down a piece. Yeah. Black is smart not to fall into the trap of moving too fast in an attempt to flag. Yeah, I think if you try to move too fast here, you might just get mated. So definitely black wants to be on the lookout. Diana has been unlucky so far that opponents have taken a couple of chances they were given in critical positions. Yeah, well, that's true. And also, like, I mean, if we're being honest, the game she let slip against Trine Narva, I mean, just a bishop up endgame. She wouldn't usually do that. It's a mental thing. Like, it's definitely a mental thing. And I think we have to I have to be honest here, like, this position she had today, it might have been just as crushing if you give it to an engine, but I think that was much harder to win than the end game that she had 2 rooks and a bishop versus 2 rooks. So I think this one is definitely much more understandable, excusable, let's say. Okay, so opponent still hasn't made a move. She's been thinking for 16 minutes, which is nice. It gives Diana time to maybe calm down a little bit. I think if she's thinking that I'm actually not sure what she's thinking right now. She might be thinking, okay, this is she might think this is still completely winning for her, or she might think it was never that winning and was just like, I mean, I guess she must have been thinking that she was completely winning when she did the sacrifice, or at least after king f8. But then I could imagine that maybe she was thinking it's not as winning anymore before she played f7. She might have thought that before f7 she might have thought that it might already have slipped a little bit, because she I don't think that f7, king f8, and then her opponent's king finding shelter is something she would have missed. I think it's more like she didn't maybe see a different way to corner the king. I suspect time usage in this tournament comes from not having not been playing tournament for 2 years. Yeah, well, I mean, to some extent, I think Diana's always been a bit of a time trouble addict. Thinking loads in positions that maybe... I mean, we can go through some of her time usage in this game and see where she used some time. I imagine she used some time here, yeah. So after a6, she used 7 minutes for bishop g2 in the opening, because that was where her opponent deviated from preparation. And I don't think bishop g2 was necessarily the best move here, so that's a bit of a longer think and maybe not exactly the correct result, but that's where she spent a bit of time. I think that's justified after getting out of prep. Then, okay, in this position here, before knight e2, she spent 14 minutes, close to 15 minutes. Well, I think knight e2 also makes sense. But maybe also something you could, I mean, play quicker. I think you could play other moves as well, like f4 makes some sense. I think that's the kind of plan she wants to do anyway. I think she was just thinking how to fight against the c5 break in this particular position. But okay, also an understandable point to take some time, maybe a little bit more than she strictly needed to. Then they played quickly here. Played quickly for a bit more. Okay, here she took 10 minutes to castle, or 11 minutes to castle. Another thought here, I mean, I think again we thought that kingside castle was maybe not the most accurate move. Maybe like some queen move would have been, and then, you know, reserving the opportunity to castle later on queenside or kingside might have been slightly better. So again, another pretty long think, but also I think one that makes sense again. I think this is a commitment to castling here, and it does allow you to support this f-pawn with your rook. And you have to sort of evaluate, if you want to castle kingside, are these pawns like giving me enough shelter, or will black be able to break something? Yeah, it can't be bad. I'm just saying, like, she spent 11 minutes here, so yeah, we're just analyzing where she spent her time. Then 4 minutes rook c1, reasonable enough. And then here another 4 minutes on c4, which I personally thought was a bit hasty again. I think that move isn't going anywhere. I think we could have taken more time to prepare it. Our opponent maybe didn't punish us in the exact way. Yeah, I agree. Maybe castling took a little bit too much time. But okay, then we get into this. And here she thought for 12 minutes on queen to e2. I think that looks like a good move. If she figures out this plan, I think this is good for her. But then she took another 6 minutes for that. But okay, she figured out the right plan here, I think. But still maybe... Oh, hey, Sophie. How are you doing, Sophie? Nice to have you here. Now you can get to see my face one time after I've been watching your stream a bunch. Hope you're doing well. Haven't been too active personally in the dojo for a while. Been pretty busy. We're just going through Diana's round 10 that she's playing right now of the European chess championships, women chess championships. Round 10, she's playing against a girl from Romania. Okay, so where are we? Sorry. I guess her opponent played some moves. Let's see. So she played queen d7, which is unfortunate for us. And yeah, she found queen d4 check. I guess we thought that was the line. A king g2. Yeah, instead of king h1, yeah, that seems reasonable. Takes, takes, takes. Oh no, this is not the line. Hold on. Okay, after bishop takes c6. We are right now. So here we are. This is the live position. Yeah, her opponent did seem like she found this line, which looks pretty good. If b takes, of course, played. Now Diana's at 2.5 minutes. Her opponent's 10.5 minutes. And yeah, we're down a piece. So that's definitely a bit worrying. By the way, what we were saying takes, and then black takes here. What if black takes here? Oh wait, sorry, I'm wrong. Sorry, this position is not actually on the board. Hold on. She played king h1. My bad. Actually, we're in the wrong position. But after queen d4 check, went king h1. Let's promote here. Takes, takes, takes. And now Diana's thinking. Okay, so king on h1. Queen can take. Queen takes here maybe, and I don't know. Queen takes c6 was played as well. I mean, if queen takes, we can... I mean, it would be a Diana kind of move to play something like this and then, you know, try to... Well, I guess the queen is on the diagonal for now. But, you know, try something like this. If we would distract the knight away. Oh, small board is wrong. Yeah, sorry. I had it on the wrong move. Is that a football t-shirt? It is. I'll give special prizes to anybody who can tell me the team. No, that's not right, Howard. Not that far away though. Well, actually, I mean, yes, that's right. My name is well, whatever your name is. It is Kaiserslautern. They are, I think, currently they're in the 3rd league. Well, I trust you on this one. I think this is going to be hard to find out by, unless you do like an image search or something. Or I guess you could do KFC sponsor. Yeah, maybe that's what's happening. Maybe I'm sponsored by KFC. Okay, so queen takes c6, queen takes g4 was played. It's interesting. Queen takes g4 instead. We were thinking about it. Now, what can we do? So what happens if we take the pawn is the first question, obviously. Are we getting in some trouble with the knight coming in? We might. Well, actually, no. I don't think we will because this doesn't really work because we're just getting completely destroyed because of promotions. That wouldn't work. Oh, Bowties Live, thank you very much for the raid. Thank you, thank you. Welcome to the games, welcome to the chat. We're just commentating on Diana's game in the European Women's Chess Championships. Thanks for the shout out, Halvard. Diana was playing really well. I think she must have been completely winning. Now, we're not so sure anymore. Hey Akjad, how's it going? This is Draw by Perpetuals, says my name is Ken Caneff with the engine backing. Goes to 40th move, that's right. I mean, we're on move 30. Oh, well, actually, we had some moves. Okay, let's just go back to the live position. After queen takes g4, no. Queen takes g4, make it the main line. Diana did not take the pawn, did not take the pawn, and did not do anything we expected. So she played rook to e1, and her opponent took it. And what's the idea? We would like to give this check, but we can't. So I guess we're gonna give some other check. Queen c7. Okay, queen c7 played. And it's unfortunate that we couldn't give, you know, this check here, because then king couldn't go back because of checkmate, and king back here would probably also lead to some trouble. Okay, so her opponent has to figure things out. He has 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes. I mean, I imagine you have something here as white, like some perpetual, as you guys are saying in the chat. Let's just see king g8, for example. Rook e8, knight f8, and then I guess you can do this, can't you? This, and here. Well, what if you run this way? You're gonna have to come back at some point. Take the rook, then I guess there's a perpetual on the other side. Am I a man or a woman? Well, you be the judge of that. I'll just give you a hint, we're commentating on Diana's game, so that's not me. And you can work out the rest for yourself. I am male, if that's what you're asking. Oh, someone did a prediction. Will this game end in a draw? Ah, people. I want to see some enthusiasm, please. Then how do you get WFM title, I mean Women FIDE Master title? Well, as I said, we're commentating on Diana's game, suggesting that I'm not Diana. So yeah, that's how I got the Women FIDE Master title. I didn't get it at all. Did not get it at all. Okay, after king g8, we are waiting for Diana's move. She has very little time left, so she needs to play quickly. I imagine rook e8 is the natural move here. And I mean rook e8, knight f8. I hope she doesn't go too wild trying to find some win. I mean, she could try to queen trade and then win the endgame or something, but I'm not sure if I have so much faith in that. Let's say maybe something like this. This is not impossible that we could end up winning this one. It's definitely not impossible that we could win this. I don't know what you guys think about this one. Like, I'm sure this is officially, like, if we ask Stockfish, probably Stockfish says that black might even be a little bit better or something, but I don't think black has that many winning chances. We just need to trade these pawns and then we're safe, and then we can just try our best to win with these two pawns. So yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think she's looking for a draw, but I'm just hoping that she doesn't go too crazy trying to avoid a draw, because this is losable, you know? Okay, so we had some moves. So not this. Rook e8, knight f8, queen d8. What's my name and FIDE rating? I do not have a FIDE rating. My name is Patrick. I'm a friend of Diana's. Queen f3, Alberto saying. That looks a bit unpleasant. Although, I guess you're gonna move your king out and yeah. Okay. I really hope she doesn't mess this up. Queen f3 was played, unfortunately. Okay, no. Queen f3 was played, king g1. At least time control is coming up. Oh man, I'm definitely worried. This reminds me a lot of the game against Luisa Basilina from Germany that she played, where she was crushing, had a super nice attack, and then sort of, you know, let it slip, and then she got into a ridiculous position, a little bit like this, and her opponent blundered mate. So I mean, this could be the exact thing that happens here as well. I mean, let's imagine she plays a stupid move here. Let's say, oh, so for a second I thought this was the queen and this was the rook, because then if you play something like h6, this would be checkmate, which would be amazing. Okay, so king g1, queen g4, king h1, queen f3. And yeah, I mean, king g1 again. They reach time control now, so they're probably going to think for a while. Her opponent does not quite have a draw in hand. Like, technically Diana could avoid it if she was, I mean, she could try to run her king away. You would be shocked if black doesn't play h6 here. Yeah, okay. Oh, but her opponent went for this quickly. She doesn't care about the time control, apparently. She just wants a draw. And if Diana goes king to h1, it's a draw, isn't it? I think it's only a draw if she goes back again. Let's quickly see. Let's quickly see. Wait, let me go to the red line. So queen g4, king h1, queen f3, king g1 here. And king h1 would be the third time. She didn't want the draw with king rook takes f8. Maybe she didn't see that one. I think that might be possible, that she might have thought this is not a sure perpetual. Well, I mean, it isn't actually a perpetual. I think the king can run away and we enter into a queen endgame. Where was the other line? This one here. Like, I mean, of course we are the ones with a pawn up then, but yeah, this would be what you need to have seen in the other line. But okay, now she has a lot of time to think if she wants a draw. No, of course you're not gonna lose, this is right, I'm just saying, yeah, she would have needed to see that. I mean, maybe she just wanted to give her opponent a chance to go wrong. That's definitely the kind of thing she would do. Also, definitely the kind of thing she would do is to play on here. Can't put it past her at all. Like, I think we've learned that Diana doesn't always choose the safe way. I mean, what can I say here? I imagine you should take a draw here. You're down a piece after all. Yeah, it's very annoying that you lose another game where we were completely dominating. Or, well, not lose, but like, don't win. It's gonna feel like another loss for her. I'm pretty sure she's gonna be very annoyed again after playing a brilliant game. Like, she was completely dominating the whole game and then, yeah, just let it slip slightly. Khabib. I mean, I'm not into such things, but I think it's an MMA fighter, isn't it? I don't know too much about it, if I'm gonna be honest, but let's see. Khabib. I feel like I've heard that name before. Yeah, I think MMA fighter. Okay, so I mean, I expect Diana to use probably like 15 minutes and then play king h1 and take a draw. I actually cannot believe her opponent played queen g4. That's so silly. Without even thinking, on move 41. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, surely you must be trying to win this as black. Why would you not even consider any other move? You have 30 minutes, 36 minutes in fact, and she doesn't actually think for more than 1 minute before giving her opponent, before giving Diana the draw. I mean, sure, but there's nothing to risk here. Like, she can't risk anything by just thinking about it. Like, if she can always just take the draw after thinking for 20 minutes. I think it's a little bit silly to give it just like that. But okay, I mean, we're okay with that. I think black must have been better here when giving this draw offer, like basically a draw offer. After the knight takes e6 sequence, I peeked at the engine when Halbach was saying knight g6 was black's first try and she was +8. Yeah, I mean, best try, yeah. Well, I'm sure she was completely winning at some point. Like, I haven't checked it with the engine, but I mean, I don't see how he couldn't have been just crushing. Like, the line that we discussed earlier with queen h6 and e takes f7. I think that must have been cleanly a clean knockout. And I guess we're saying that the move we missed, or well, that the move where it all fell apart was f7. My lichess. Well, why do you want to know that? I think if you do some research, you can probably find out. It shouldn't be too hard. Oh yeah, my lichess is Patrick, exactly. Everybody just knows me as Patrick. Okay, so I mean, we're just waiting for Diana to decide if she wants to draw. I mean, I kind of hope that she takes it. Although, speaking like of psychology, if your opponent really wants to draw so badly that she just offers it without even thinking, you might have a point in, like, you know, saying, okay, let's play it for a little bit more. Although, I mean, you might just be lost if you play something else then. Something other than king h1. I mean, let's just look at something. Let's say, I don't know, king f2. You'd rather have my read account. Well, she should think of my throat. We already lost co-commentators. I have to be all on my own. Terrible. She's not even gonna come in to oh, thank you for the hydration. That's a good plan. I am here in like an apartment without AC and 30 degrees Romanian heat. No wine today. Well, we have like one swallow left, I think, of our beautiful Moldovan wine. Really? Are you telling me she didn't take it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't even want. Okay, let's see. So queen g4, king f2. I don't know why she's doing this, but queen f4, king g2, queen g4. Opponent still doesn't even want to think about anything but a draw. She still doesn't, like, her opponent really does not want to think about anything but a draw. And after queen g4, of course, now Diana again has the chance to go to h1, because it doesn't matter how far apart the repetitions are to claim threefold repetition. It's only important that you have the same position 3 times, the exact same position 3 times, and after you have had that, you can claim a draw. Okay, so actually it is, okay, they did agree a draw, it seems. They did agree a draw after queen g4, which, okay, I mean, something tells me that black was winning there. I mean, so I think we can be happy about that. Diana really wanted to make it exciting there, but her opponent was like, no. No excitement. I mean, let's just look at what would have happened if Diana ran her queen somewhere else. Let's say instead of king g2, we run our king to e2. And I mean, let's say our opponent really doesn't have anything constructive to do and gives them checks. Like, can we eventually... I guess we just want to avoid a queen trade. Like, if we can just run up, there might be something there for us. I think the only way that black can win here is if they eventually, use their H pawn and move their king and somehow engineer blocking, against this. Might not be so easy. We might have had a point about trying a little bit longer here. But okay, I mean, our opponent might have also just seen this plan and then she might have lost. So there it is. It's a draw. So let's look at it with the engine on. I just want to see where the blunder happened. So we are thinking after queen b8, this game must just be, easy. Well, not easy, but like it must just be winning for Diana after she finds this nice little sacrifice. Knight takes e6, bishop takes, and knight takes g7. And here we're thinking after king f8, it must have been a crushing position for Diana. I mean, queen h6 is coming, never ended up being played. e6 is coming as well, with opening up this line here. So yeah, this was played. At this point, the computer says +8 or actually even more. It's still rising, but yeah, a little bit sad to see. But you lost a bunch of challenge points, but nobody won them. You just threw them into the abyss. Nobody bet against you. That's sad. Pure police hats and adoption matches. What a tragic day. Okay, so +8 +9 is what the ending is saying here. Our opponent plays bishop c6 and Diana goes for f6. Good move, I think. I thought at the time, at least. I think the only problem we saw later is this knight is a monster of a defender on g6. I think that's actually, I think we can put it down to this knight, why this game was not won for Diana. I think just this knight on g6, controlling the promotion square, protecting the rook from any tactics, also sort of cementing this position that, these things can't fall so easily. Oops, nope. I think all of these things were very, very unfortunate. But I think, okay, f6 was still completely winning. And then I think this is where it maybe started to slip after knight g6 and queen c5 check. I think if we give this check instead, queen h6, king e8, and we were thinking now, well, actually, okay. Actually, this the computer doesn't like either. King d7. I mean, okay. I guess the promotion square is controlled, and you can say nothing's happening with these. +1, computer says, but this is very hard to grasp in the moment, I think. To play king d7 here, okay, I don't know. But the computer, I mean, just going over it with it now, it finds a lot of ways to hold this position, actually. So a lot of ways to go wrong. Okay, hello Gaffaroni, welcome. You seem to be a cheerful person. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, so okay, this apparently wouldn't have been so great either. Maybe not as good as we thought initially. Computer wants rook c to d1, and the rest isn't that winning. So yeah, definitely you can think that this was a bit harder to win. Give me 1 second.
What? Oh, I forgot. I need
You forgot.
I need to look over the game. Yeah, it's completely winning. Like
Yeah, but this is not so easy for sure. We thought it was easy. Like we thought Queen H6 was, but it wasn't as easy as we thought.
Queen H6. Oh.
Yeah, and then we thought he takes F, but actually the king can sort of run away and be, I mean, not okay, but
Oh. I mean, okay. Why didn't I just give a check? I thought that this.
oh, but this, yeah, it's still
Thank you,
not
here.
easy. Like king runs and yeah, it's still not so easy.
Then I can take here. Can I? Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
Definitely
No, okay.
not so trivial.
Hello, Paul. Yeah, I sprinted. Well, that's what happens when you can't calculate.
No, but this, I mean, this is definitely mess upable. Yeah.
I should have just went for this then.
No. This was, what do you mean?
Yeah, I know.
Definitely right. That was really good. Like, that was really nice sacrifice. I think King B8 was a bit of a.
All of this was. Well, I thought she was going to play Queen B8.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Oh.
what I
But
calculated.
95?
95
95 is much more natural.
I was scared. I thought she was going to win that in game with H5.
Yeah.
That's winning.
Why did you not repeat?
Because I saw that she wanted to draw, so I was like, I might as well.
Oh wow, the mind games.
I wanted
So
to.
why did you run all the way then?
Because then I saw that you can take the second pawns with check and then H5 and it's easy win.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. If I lost this game, oh my god, I would have been so upset.
Maybe you wanted it deep down when playing King F2.
Should have kept the pressure.
I can't believe she even
Oh.
thought about it. She didn't even think about it. Like she didn't even consider.
Check.
Yeah, but I mean, can't beat yourself up too much for missing this.
Yeah, I thought I had it too, John Yo. Just couldn't see anything. Okay, I didn't see that. Knight takes.
The point is, I guess, that you have this check now because the knight covers all the good checking squares. But like,
No, okay, I wouldn't have taken that. So here,
you give a check and then take with the queen e7, but it's not easy.
what am I starting?
Yeah,
Oh, to take here. Okay, yeah.
it's
Oh, Queen A8 is such a hard move.
yeah.
Oh, because take, and then take. There. And Queen here.
Hmm.
No. Is it Queen with rook? Oh, because I have the bishop. Yeah, the bishop. I mean, I can even just take the queen. Maybe not. Oh, it's double check.
It's still checking.
Okay.
Double check. That's nice. Double check.
So here, queen here, queen d6, king here. This is so winning.
It is, but okay. I mean, the thing you played, I don't know, up until f7.
Yeah, I know, but I had no time and I just played it quickly.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, this is fine. Oh, I was looking at different things. I just couldn't make anything work.
Yeah, it's not easy. Like, it looked very winning, but if you go concretely, it wasn't actually that obvious.
If queen takes, then what? You won.
Now you eventually want to get a check in, I guess.
Oh, sorry, I win the queen, yeah. Okay, so if I take here with check, Rosh takes the pawn. E1. If she goes here. Yeah, okay. And she goes here. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
See, my plan was to take here and then stuff
yeah,
like that.
Unfortunately, I also open up the h-file then. And
Yeah. Oh no.
yeah, but this was not easy to convert for sure, especially with little time. Not easy at all.
I just played that too quick. I just was thinking and I didn't know what to do. Not anything was winning, to be honest. Oh! It's so frustrating. What if I just played anything like, I don't know, h3? No, I would lose this. Okay. Queen d4. Queen f7. I just feel.
Didn't do the
They're
game.
all the same thing.
Same thing. Well, I mean, you're crushing again though. Like, you got into such a nice position.
I just can't convert.
Yeah, you have one more chance to convert. Okay, gonna do the next one. One more chance. You can do it. Like, you really can. Eventually, someone's gonna crack.
Oh. I stopped the losing streak. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, still not great. Would have been nice to win, but yeah. Okay, well, I just need to get a win or something. Last round.
Yeah, well.
But we can raid. Did someone redeem guide raid?
Don't think so.
How did the opening go? Because I didn't know.
Opening was, we didn't like, or well, I think I didn't like a couple of small things. I didn't like bishop g2.
Really?
Yeah, because you decide pretty early where your bishop goes. I don't think it was maybe necessary
Yeah,
to do that yet.
right, yeah,
and eventually maybe you can even think of like bishop h3 or something, and then if you want to support the f4, f5 thing. If
Yeah.
you don't, go to bishop, yeah. And then, well, I think this looks really good. And then maybe that looks a bit necessary as well. And c4 is too soon. But other than that, I think. No,
bad.
No.
Bad, but other than
No,
that.
but it looks really good. Like this position is, I think it's really good. I think you're really happy that you can get this. I think even castles makes a lot of sense. Maybe just like also you could have maybe moved the queen first or something. But you got into this tactical stuff and you immediately did super well. And until f7 you were completely winning. Instead of hoping she wouldn't find the more intermediate check.
I mean, it was obvious.
Yeah, after, but like before going into the line, I guess. Then you might have still had some.
What did I have
chances.
to play here? Vertex of 8?
Yeah, see, now we're saying.
What? I would never have gone into this, just in case the king runs.
Yeah, but you can also.
Oh, sorry, the rook.
maybe the simpler
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm actually so exhausted. I just wanted that to win. I was just winning.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is I just get into time trouble because I just didn't have time to see anything. I have to calculate faster and I just aren't good enough.
Yeah. What do you think about your time usage this game? Like, we went through it a little bit, like, when you use time. I think one was here, which makes sense. I mean, out of prep. That was like. No, actually, you didn't use that much here. Used a bit here. Weren't really too sure. Like, what do you think when you played this? What were you looking for?
I didn't know where to put my pieces. Well, I knew that her plan was this, and I just thought if I have my bishop here, then that's good.
Right.
It opens everything.
That makes sense.
So I was just thinking where to put my pieces, and then I thought, where was this not gonna go? Am I gonna play f4? Blah blah.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
And then yeah. Oh yeah, here. Oh, so much time gone. Yeah, like I was either gonna play this, and then I wasn't sure like where am I gonna put. Am I gonna move knight here, or which knight is gonna go? And then I just thought this was best, but yeah, I wasted all my time there.
Yeah.
All my time just went, and then queen e2, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you just could play a little bit faster than the normal ones, but yeah. Although that was a good plan, like queen e2, queen f2. I think if you don't play that, you might be in a bit of trouble with the pawn.
Yeah. Anyways, we can raid Sophie.
Yeah, Sophie Rose was in the chat earlier.
Oh.
Not streaming though, I don't think.
Yeah, well, Sophie, just by Sophie is streaming. Okay, so we can go over to Chess by Sophie. Thank you everyone for coming in. Sorry that I didn't win, but tomorrow's the last day and hopefully we finish on a win. Stay with us. Well, I'm gonna go and eat. I'm really hungry and a little bit tired. See you, Dermot.
See you, everybody. And yeah, I'll see you back tomorrow for the last round. And then we're actually gonna see a win. So.
Yeah, we say that all the time.
No, but like, okay, it was so close again. It's gotta happen.
Thank you, Lamprocos.
This one, it's gonna happen. No, tomorrow is another round, Johnny-O. Another chance.
Mm,
Another chance, and we're gonna make it count this time. Yes?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Heard it here first. Winning coming tomorrow.
Okay. Let's go to Sophie, and I'll see you guys later. Okay, goodbye.